So did you guys know that I have a wife who's from another nation? Yeah, she's from my imagination. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be trying out Godot as someone who is a Roblox developer. Why am I doing this? Because Roblox changed something that I will never stop arguing about. So I immediately opened up the program and go to create a new project. From first appearance, it looks like Roblox, just no base plate. The thing that caught my eye first was this hotbar with different menus. I guess we're going 2D for the time being. Now back up for a second. What is Godot? It's basically a lightweight game engine that makes a really nice 2D and 3D games. It also uses a custom coding language called GDScript because it wants me to suffer. And I did, but only for a while. My mission for this video is to be making a space dodging game where you have to dodge incoming orbs and survive for long enough. So without further ado, let's get started. How do I do that? Naturally, I lost my mind over all of the buttons everywhere, so I looked up for a quick tutorial. Shout out to the following channels on the screen, and here's what I did. Firstly, I went on Open Games Art and searched for this free space texture pack, as well as the space background. Some people might be mad at me for plagiarizing, but I don't want to struggle with making good sprites, as that doesn't make good content. After importing them, I go on to create the first node. Nodes are essentially instances, just like Roblox. There are different types of them, like character body nodes, area nodes, etc. This node is going to be a character node. Inside of it, I'm adding a UFO sprite and a secular collision box. Once that was done, I'm adding a separate node for the level. I don't know why it has to be this way, but apparently it's better. And then came the scripting. In Roblox, scripts are instances, just like parts. But in Godot, scripts are attachments? I mean, it's not too trippy, but I just found that this is kind of weird. I was very startled with having to learn a new coding language, but from what I've heard, GDScript is basically a mix between Python and Lua. I wonder why they really did that. Okay, so let me just add in a new script. Huh? Character body 2D template? Free type scripts? It's like I typed the whole code with my imagination. Except it's 10 times harder to read what's going on. And I even got a functioning UFO. Oh my god, and I only used the program for like a few minutes. Well, that was the easy part of the video. The remaining part is agony. After getting the player physics in check and being happy for like 10 minutes, it was time for the orb system. What I wanted to achieve is having orbs spawn at a random Y level, move to the right, and disappear out of frame. It could not be simpler than that. Or could it? I've added a script inside of the level node, and I successfully managed to clone the orb via this code, but there was one problem that really trips me. Quick disclaimer, you're about to hear some knowledge from someone who's used Godot for 10 minutes. One thing I knew beforehand is that when moving objects, you cannot change the position directly, or the character body won't respond to any collisions. I've done that for the player, but how do you do it for the orb? Do you just use the same line of code? No. Do you add in another node? Still no. What could it be? I can already feel all Godot developers facepalming. So basically, the solution is to change the position of the orb. Yeah, all that velocity stuff, that only applies to the player, not anything else. That error took me 3 days to figure out. On the bright side though, the orbs are working and the player's collision with them is being detected. Except not really, because there's no punishment for colliding into these. I mean seriously, calling these an obstacle is like calling a goldfish a heavy cruiser. I was a bit inspired to make it similar to the dinosaur game, where if you collide with an object, every sprite just stops moving. It was quite clean and simple. This was a little bit hard considering I had to utilize signals and then after recording learned that it was unnecessary code, but I managed and I'm quite impressed with it. Right, so now we've got the core mechanics going on, and that means we're approaching the end. I still have a couple more things I need to implement. First is the replay system, which for the replay button, I actually went to make it myself in Libra Sprite. Yes, I'm broke and I cannot afford a sprite, but whatever. I made a good looking button anyways. Thankfully, just like Roblox, buttons are relatively simple to script. Probably even simpler in Godot, where I could just add the code into the main script. And thankfully, it works. This is way simpler than all the stuff I had to do back then. The button shows whenever the player collides with an orb, and I even added a small game over screen for no reason other than to fill in dead space. That being said, there is this one weird bug where if you press the replay button too quickly, the level will spawn twice as many orbs. I searched up what the error could be, and apparently it has to do with this while loop. So after learning a bit about timer nodes, I made a small switcheroo and we're good. For now. Finally was the last feature I'm adding, and it is sounds. No good game can be complete without sounds. Emphasis on good games. I'm not exactly experienced in sound design, but thankfully I found a free sound effect website called JSFXR. This website gives you free retro sound effects that you can modify with these sliders, and I ended up creating these 4 sounds. I then hooked each audio player to the designated event, and this is what I was left with. It's somehow 2 times more fun to play with the sounds in. So what do I think about Godot? I think it's a very good game engine. I was expecting learning a proper game engine to be quite hard, and while it was for the first few days, everything was relatively straightforward. And when things didn't make sense, I just looked up for a tutorial or go to the Godot documentation, and I could easily grasp onto it. It's also very performance friendly. I've never had any lag issues, except for when I accidentally forgot a wait statement in a while loop. Godot is also highly customizable too. GDScript is open source, so anyone can view, modify, and contribute to it. And if you really want to, you can use C# instead. Now, is it perfect? Well, no. Roblox does allow users to use community-made products through the toolbox, unlike Godot. Also, creating a game in Roblox is more easier since most of the player physics is done for you, and you can easily just configure those settings. So, you know what? The pre-generated scripts are so cool, so Godot wins, no question. I think I'm ready to call this game done. So, how do I publish it?